Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. Today we are going to see cursor in database management system. A PLPgSQL uses a temporary work area in memory for its internal processing of SQL statements. This private work area is known as cursor. Cursor allows user to access or retrieve multiple rows of data from a table so that user can perform different operations on their data one row at a time. We use cursors when we want to divide a large result set into parts and process each part individually. Okay, so basically here what is a cursor? Cursor is nothing but a private work area. Okay, and it allows user to access or retrieve multiple rows of data from a table, right? And the operations are performed on that data one row at a time. Okay, basically here you can see this is what the Excel, right? This is what the Excel, and you can see here in this cell my cursor is there, right? So that I can move my cursor forward and I can move my cursor backwards. Okay, I can jump on certain location like this, right? And again I can move backwards like this. Okay, that means what? Moving forward, backward, right? And jumping at certain location. This can be done with the help of cursor on the database. Okay, on the database, right? Then here we can say, and cursor is a pointer variable. Okay, here we can say cursor is a pointer variable since it is pointing to that particular row, right, on which the work is performed, right? That's why here we can say the cursor is what? A pointer variable, and we can say whatever values comes with the help of cursor, that means what? It is performing on the active set. Okay, it is performing on the active set. And here we say that we say that cursor is used at that particular time when we need to divide a large result set into the subparts, and each subpart is going to work individually. Okay. Now, cursor can be of two types. Very first one is what? Implicit cursor. These are declared and managed by PLPgSQL for all DML statements. Okay. And second one is what? Explicit cursor. And this cursor are declared and managed by the programmers. Okay. So basically, explicit cursors are created by the user or the programmers, and it is managed by them. But this is not the case with implicit cursor. They are already declared and managed by PLPgSQL for all the DML statements, or we can say PLPgSQL select statements. Okay. So here basically we are going to work on the explicit cursor in the entire concept. Okay. Here we will see how to manage explicit cursor operations. Okay. Steps for using the cursor onto the table. So here you can see the steps are: first, declare a cursor. Next, open the cursor. Third, fetch rows from the result set into a target. After that, check if there are more rows left to fetch. If yes, go to step 3, otherwise go to step 5. Finally, close the cursor. Okay? So here you can see this is the diagram over here. About the cursor, you must understand this. What all are the important steps for the cursor? Okay. So initially we need to declare the cursor. Once the cursor is declared, it must be open. After that, only the rows can be fetched with the help of the cursor. Okay. If there are more rows to be fetched, then the loop will be executed as the cursor is closed. So declare, open, fetch, and close. These are the important steps for cursor. Now, declaration of the cursor. We can declare a cursor variable by using two ways. Very first one is what? Bound cursor variable, and the second one is what? Unbound cursor variable. Okay. And what is the meaning of bound cursor variable? Okay. So basically the meaning of this is what? Here the query is already bound to this cursor variable at the time of declaration. Okay. This is what the meaning of bound cursor. That means what? When we declare a cursor, at that particular time only we assign or we bind a query to that cursor, then this variable or this cursor is called as bound cursor variable. So here you can see the syntax of bound cursor variable. See here, cursor underscore name. Any name you can give for this cursor, right? It can be A, it can be cur1, it can be C, any name, since it is a user defined name. Okay, next this word is important, cursor. Okay, this word is important, cursor. Okay, next here you can see for query. Okay, for query, and the example here you can see this is what cursor. Okay, this is the example. Cur1, this is the cursor name. cursor, this is the cursor keyword. Okay, since it is telling that it is a cursor variable. After that, for, then select star from employee. So when we declare a cursor and at that particular time if we write the query, then we say what? Then when we write a query at the time of declaration only, then that particular time we say what? That particular cursor is a bound cursor. Okay. Now next is unbound cursor variable. Okay. Next is unbound cursor variable. Now how we are going to declare this? Declare the cursor variable of type ref cursor. Okay, this is the keyword which we are going to use. REFCURSOR. With the help of this, we are going to create unbound cursor variable. Okay, see the declaration. We are going to write cursor name space ref cursor and semicolon. Okay, cursor name space ref cursor. This cursor underscore name is any name which you are going to give. Like in example, you can see the name for this is given what? CUR. The name you can see CUR1, that is cur1, and space ref cursor. With the help of ref cursor, you are going to create unbound cursor variable. Here you can see there is no query written with this particular variable. That's why here we say this is the unbound cursor variable. Okay. Second is opening cursor. Okay. First you have seen how to declare the cursor. Now you are seeing what opening cursor. Cursor must be opened before they can be used to fetch rows. Okay. Bound cursor. This is how you are going to open the bound cursor. Okay. Open cursor name. Right. Example here like you can write it. Open CUR1 and semicolon. This is how you are going to open the cursor. Okay. Bound cursor. Next is what? Unbound cursor. This cursor variable not bounded to any query when we declared it. So we have to specify the query when we open it, right? So basically unbound cursor at the time of declaration, we haven't specified any query for it. But when we open this cursor, we need to specify the query. Okay? Example here is how. Example here we can write it as, you can see here I am writing the example. Open, suppose CUR1, okay, for select star from employee. Okay, so basically for unbound cursor, when we open the cursor at that particular time, we are going to bind a cursor. We are going to specify the query with that particular cursor. Okay. So here you can see the third thing is what? Fetching rows. Okay. The fetch statement retrieves the next row from the cursor. Okay. And assigned it a target variable. Okay. Which could be a record row variable. If no more rows found, the target variable is set to null. Okay. Now here you can see the syntax. Fetch. These are nothing but the direction from or in. Cursor into target. Okay. The example here you can see this is what the example is. Fetch cur1. Cur1 is nothing but the cursor name into REC. This is nothing but the record variable. Okay. That means whatever the cursor variable is pointing to, it is fetched into the variable record. It is fetched into the variable record. Okay. And this is the another example over here. You can see this is the another example. Fetch last from cur1 into enumber comma ename. Right? Fetch last from cur1 into enumber comma ename. Right? So here it is trying to fetch whatever is there into cur1, that is cursor variable, right? It is going to take the last value from that active set into e number comma e name, right? The direction clause can be any of the following variants. जैसे कि ये last देख रहे हैं आप, right? You're seeing this last. This is nothing but the direction clause, and it can be any of the one from the following. This is next, prior, first, last, absolute, okay, relative, forward or backward. And the default is what? Next. Okay, the default is what? Next. So these are the direction clause which can be made use with the fetch keyword. Okay. If you're not taking it, then by default it is next. Okay. Like we have seen the fetch keyword for fetching the record, fetching the values into the record. Now just here we are going to move the cursor up and down. For moving the cursor, we are making use of the keyword MOVE, right? We are making the use of the keyword MOVE. Repositions a cursor without retrieving any data, okay? Just it moves the cursor without retrieving any data. Okay, fetch is used to retrieve a data, but if you do not want to retrieve any data, if you do not want to fetch any data, just we want to move the cursor up and down, okay, then we are making use of this keyword move. So in place of fetch, you're going to write MOVE, right? And the direction clause can be any of the cursor. So here you can see next, prior, first, last, absolute. This all are what the direction clause which are made use with the cursor variable. We are going to see with the example, okay? Demonstration we are going to see. Now next is what? Closing cursor, okay? Since we have seen, to declare the cursor, we have seen how to open the cursor, how to fetch the values, right? Or how to fetch the records. Now we are going to see how to close the cursor, okay? To close an open cursor, we use close statement as follows, okay? Syntax, close, and the cursor variable, right? For example, close CUR1, that is cur1. So this is how we are going to close the cursor. The close statement releases the resources or frees up cursor variable to allow it to be opened again using open statement. Okay? When we need to open the cursor again, we have to follow the same instruction, open CUR1. Right? If it is bound cursor, then just we have to write open cursor variable, and it is unbound variable. Along with the open statement, we have to specify the query also, right? Students, thank you for watching this video. In the next video, I'm going to explain you the cursor with the practical. Okay, practically I'm going to explain you the concept of cursor. Thank you for watching this video.